If you thought Honolulu Pickleball was a one and done with Kevlar paddles, think again. Following the release of their popular J7K and J7K Pro Kevlar paddles, and by popular demand, they've now released the J7K and J7K Pro models, which also feature 100% Kevlar faces, are thermoformed, but this time come in the elongated shape and come packing more power. I was actually a big fan of how the J7K and J7K Pros played, and I don't know what I expected from the J7K and J7K Pro models, but I was surprised with how they played. So I'll give you a quick summary of how I thought these J7Ks compared to the previous J2Ks. Compared to the previous J2Ks, the new J7Ks had considerable amount more power and had higher levels of pop. The J7Ks have a bit more flex in their longer 6-inch handle, were more power-oriented versus the control or all-core orientation of the J2Ks, and compared to the huge sweet spots of the J2Ks, the J7K sweet spots were probably about average. So if you're expecting the release of a longer paddle that plays exactly like the J2Ks did, but with added reach, you may be as surprised as I was. I'll do a deeper dive in this J2K versus J7K comparison and give you my thoughts on how these J7Ks compare to the other elongated Kevlar paddles on the market. One thing they have kept the same with these paddles is a reasonable price, as the PBMed-Kevlar discount code brings the final price of the J7K to $135 and $145 for the J7K Pro. I do think these two prices are very generous for 100% DuPont-sourced Kevlar fiber paddles, as they are significantly more expensive to produce when compared to carbon fiber paddles. Honolulu Pickleball has also agreed to do a giveaway for one of these paddles, or for those who don't want to wait for the giveaway results, they've also offered to do a reimbursement if the drawn winner purchased one from this channel already. So stick around after the review to find out how to enter the giveaway. Now let's jump into the important details, starting with specs and stats. Both the J7K and the J7K Pro are 16.4 inches long and 7.4 inches wide, putting them in the elongated paddle category. They both measure 16 millimeters thick and have a generous 6-inch handle length, offering a ton of room for two-handed shots and extra reach. And one thing I'll mention about the handle that I noticed during gameplay is its smaller diameter, which measures 4.125 inches. So if you're like me and you hate fat handles too, this may be a plus for you. And as mentioned before, these paddle faces are constructed with 100% DuPont-sourced aramid fiber, which remains the cream of the crop as far as Kevlar/aramid fiber is concerned. And after having tested quite a few Kevlar paddles at this point, the general trend seems to be that when constructing paddles with Kevlar instead of carbon fiber, it seems to make the paddles themselves a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more stable, and have wider sweet spots when compared to those same paddles made of carbon fiber. Though I will say that this change to Kevlar does not seem to affect spin retention for better or worse in the long run. Swing weight for the J7K came in at 122, and swing weight for the J7K Pro came in at 120. A difference that I attribute to the tighter Kevlar fiber weave of the J7K Pro, resulting in less overall material mass. Twist weights were 6.3 for the J7K and 6.25 for the J7K Pro. And like the swing weights for both of these two paddles, these numbers seem to be about average for elongated shaped paddles. This is one notable contrast between the new J7Ks and the previous J2Ks, which had pretty impressive sweet spots and boasted low swing weights with high twist weights. And this change makes sense as you switch from that shorter, more hybrid shape of the J2Ks to the more elongated shape of the J7Ks, as you sacrifice a little bit of sweet spot size for increased power. Testing the spin of these two paddles, RPMs came back high, but not ultra high, as the two models that I had were pre-production models, which generally vary from the production level models, mostly in terms of surface texture grittiness. So even though those RPMs are high, I would expect the models customers receive to be 1, maybe 200 RPMs higher than this, and when I get production level paddles in myself, I'll test them and measure them and update my stat sheet accordingly. The first thing that I did when testing these J7Ks was I got out my ball machine and I literally stood there with a J7K in one hand and a J2K in the other hand and hit ball after ball, just switching them from one hand to the other to really get to know the nuances of the differences between the J7K and the J2K, the J7K to the J7K Pro, and these paddles versus other paddles that I'm testing. And like I mentioned before, the J7Ks definitely had higher levels of pop when compared to the J2Ks. Drives and serves also felt great with the J7Ks, and I felt really confident in hand battles with that extra level of pop and reach. The J7Ks were just a sliver more stiff when compared to the J2Ks as well, which made the ball react off the face faster and contributed to that pop. I also felt like the handles of the J7Ks had a little bit more flex in them, which is probably reflected, one, by the fact that the handles are 6 inches long when compared to the 5.5 inch long handles of the J2Ks, and two, the simple fact that the overall length of the J7Ks is about a ½ inch longer than the J2Ks, resulting in more mass to be moved beyond the point of applied force at the hand. This makes the J7Ks just a little bit more whippy and gives them added leverage. The sweet spots on the J7Ks were about average, while the sweet spots on the J2Ks were impressively large. And in terms of control, the J2Ks definitely had a better control profile when compared to the J7Ks, which get about an average control rating from me. And comparing the J7Ks to other elongated Kevlars, I definitely think they have an advantage over the VivaPro Gen 3 and the Body Helix X3s in terms of maneuverability. And even though the J7Ks aren't the most poppy paddle of any paddle that I've tested, they are probably the most poppy elongated Kevlar paddle that I've tested. The J7Ks also have a definite advantage over the 𝐌𝐀𝐒𝐓 control in terms of power for average drive speed and in terms of pop. But the 𝐌𝐀𝐒𝐓 control standout feature really is its lighter feel for an elongated shape paddle and has a higher control rating when compared to the J7Ks. When comparing the J7Ks to each other, I really didn't think there was a huge difference, but the paddle face of the J7K Pro has that tighter weave, which gives it just a little bit more of a stiff feel, as well as a lower swing weight and higher levels of pop when compared to the J7K. So overall, I think these are two good paddles that come in at a very fair price. And I think the people who are gonna like this paddle are people who are looking for power paddle with a little bit of pop. Those who like the elongated shape and the extended handle, those who want the durability benefit of a 100% Kevlar face paddle, or those who like the J2K but wanted a little bit more power. And those who may not like this paddle are those who expect that giant sweet spot of the J2K Pro or the J2K to transfer over to these elongated paddles, or if you really want that absolute highest level of pop in the game, as these two J7K and J7K Pro paddles had good pop but weren't the absolute highest level pop of the paddles that I've tested. That's my take on Honolulu's newest addition to the Kevlar market, the J7K and J7K Pro. I hope the review was helpful, and if it was, hit that subscribe button, and here's what you have to do to enter the giveaway. There are two options for this giveaway. The first is a free J7K or J7K Pro paddle, or if you've already purchased one, our second option is a reimbursement in the event that you're chosen as a winner. To enter the giveaway, you need to subscribe to the Pickleball Medicine YouTube channel, leave a comment in the video below, and fill out the Google form linked in the video details below so that I have a way of contacting you if you're chosen as a winner. And if you are chosen as a winner, I'll put your YouTube username in the details below and I'll contact you via email. The winner will be chosen 1 month from the video upload date. Good luck to everyone and thanks for watching.